Today we're going to be talking about the Moment Camera app. The update is finally here. Let's check it out. Recently, the Moment Camera app came out with a new update, and this update is by far the best. There's all different types of camera apps out there like Pro Cam, Camera Plus 2, etc. But when Moment came out with their new update, they put in a whole bunch of technical features in there that brings it as close to a DSLR as possible that you can have for your iPhone. When it comes to the technical features to the Moment app, you've got shutter speed, which you can change the shutter speed itself. You've got the ISO. You've got exposure, autofocus, and auto white balance. And by the touch of the screen, you can have it automatically focus on whatever it is that you're trying to focus on. And one thing that's nice when it comes to autofocusing, if you don't just want to autofocus on one thing and you want to have more control, if you do a two-touch on the screen, you now have independent controls for each. You have your brightness and you have your focus. Now on each one, if you take and touch each one for a moment, they'll lock into place, which is really nice. And then after that, when you go to your settings, you've got your histogram, you've got your location, and because I'm doing this on the iPad, if you do it on your iPhone, you also have 3D touch, because if you touch and hold on the screen, it will autofocus for you, and then when you press harder, it will take the actual snapshot. At the top right, you will notice that you have options for your wide, tele, macro, superfish, and no lens. So if you are a Moment user and you have different kinds of lenses, you can choose which one you need. Then next to that, you have raw footage, JPEG, TIFF, and back to RAW. Personally, I like to use RAW because then I can edit everything in post. Then just like every other camera out there, you've got your timer, automatic timer, 3 second, 10 second, your auto flash, flash on and then off, and then your box, tic-tac-toe, which is the rule of thirds, basic rule of thirds. Then it even gets a little finer after that, and then it goes back to none. Then of course you can do your selfie, where you turn the camera around, and then at the bottom right you can switch over to video. Now, if you guys are FiLMiC Pro users out there like myself, this is going to come kind of natural to you. At the bottom again, you have your shutter speed, ISO, I always forget this name, exposure, your exposure, autofocus, auto white balance, and at the top, this is where it gets important. Top right, just like before, your different selection of your lenses. 30 frames, 60 frames, 120 frames, 240 frames, but that's also because we're using 720p resolution. We don't use 720. At least we bump it up to 1080. So we're still at 120 frames per second at 1080p for resolution. So then if I hit the 120 frames per second again, it will go back down to 24. Then if we bump it up to say 4K, you got your 24 frames per second, 30 frames per second, and back to 24. And then the box with the A is anti-shake, so that when you are moving it around, it will try to adjust as best as it can without any shake. And if you hit it again, it's now off. So as you can see, it's a little bit more jittery. Back on, it's a lot more smoother. Then you've got your flash, auto, on, off, your rule of thirds, your box, your basic rule of thirds, a more finer, and then back to off. And that is the Moment Camera app. And here are some shots that I took with the Moment Camera app itself. So all in all, it all sums up to, this is a pretty good app. I use this quite a bit wherever I've been going lately. And do I still use FiLMiC Pro? Yes, I do. But do I still use the Moment Camera app? Of course, because I like variety, and that's just how I roll, you know? But until next time, guys, peace!